Hi, this video is about comparing ChatGPT to Google's Bard. And I'm going to put it through a few tests here. I've heard some things about how good or bad Bard is, and I'm going to test for myself and see what we find with my own types of prompts that I do, which is a little different than some people, I think. So, and already right out of the gate, so actually I'm looking for a project manager for SEO, and I wanted to write it out in detail, and I thought, I'm just going to kind of dump out my main thoughts and have ChatGPT throw something in there. And then I also would try it with Bard. So first of all, Bard just says, nope, I can't do that. Let's actually give it another shot. I've heard sometimes that if you give it the prompt again, that sometimes it actually will give it to you, even though the first time it didn't. Like, I don't see, there's no reason why it wouldn't. See, now that's really interesting that it did that. There is a nice feature here that there's multiple drafts. Let's take a look at them. I'll read this real quick. I'm going to pause this, I'm going to read them, and then I'll give my summary. So right out of the gate, all three of these, it seems like it's making up a lot of stuff. So I gave it pretty specific instructions, and then, well, there's a certain amount of creative license that I think is expected. It does hallucinate a lot of things. I said nothing about this. I did not say anything about this. Is not going to manage all the aspects. This it was a very narrow job description. And I didn't say anything about the amount of experience at all. Now, maybe that's just part of the standard, but I don't really like any of these. I don't think I would use them. I'm going to read this one. I mean, this one is much better. It did a much better job of taking into account what I put in there, what I put in the description, and actually using it thoroughly in here. And it did add a few things, but basically it gave me back what I gave it, and with a little bit of things cleaned up. I'm not sure there's really anything that they added. I guess strong customer, I guess they did kind of expand upon this. This is, again, a little bit, I could sort of added a little bit here, but that's about it. I like this way better. This is far more usable. So 1 point to ChatGPT, and in this case, 1 to 0. Just keep a little counter over here so we can check this. All right, so let's try a new one. We'll start this one for, okay. Brainstorm 10 gift ideas for women. All right, let's see what this one does. So an interesting thing that I already noticed right out of the gate. So this is, I'm going to give a point to ChatGPT before we even do this, because I can't start a new conversation. ChatGPT leaves a lot to be desired in terms of the UI and interface and efficiency. There's no search, there's no archive, there's no, I can't select multiple chats at the same time. I can either clear them all, or I have to go through this. It's very inefficient. That said, Bard seems to be like, hold my beer. How inefficient can I make this? This is extremely not useful as like a business tool. There's no history. You just have one chat conversation. And I kind of don't want it using this, so I'm going to have to reset it, and then I'm basically starting from scratch. So I like that I can go back to this if I need to. With this, if I wanted those, I would have had to have copy and pasted. Otherwise, they're just gone. All right, so we'll give that a second. Okay, let's read these. Here are 10 gift ideas for women. You can do a gift card, piece of jewelry. This one's not bad. Let's check out the other ones. Very, very similar, and these are all decent. I feel like these are a little bit better, just because the detail and kind of it seems more real. I would say this seems more robotic, but I wouldn't say either one of these is. I would say this is bad. So we'll just maybe we'll get, so Bard doesn't feel so sad. We'll give them both a point for this one. Okay, so this one should be interesting. We're gonna write a poem about artificial intelligence in the style of Yoda. Let's give that a second, and let's see what this does. I'm pretty sure this is going to be a point for ChatGPT, but we'll see. Intelligence artificial, a wondrous thing it is. Learn and grow, it can to do many things. From simple tasks to complex, it can accomplish all. With its vast knowledge, it can help us all. But be careful, we must, for AI can be dangerous if used for evil. It can cause much harm. So let us use AI wisely. You know what's interesting? It like starts off in the tone of Yoda, and then it really only uses it one more time. I would say this is kind of a fail. The poem is okay, but it's basically a fail. Maybe this one. Yeah, it just doesn't. It's weird. It seems like it can't hold its thought in its head, and it loses what it was actually trying to do, which is a really bad sign for Google, I think. Let's try this one. And to be clear, I think this is something where ChatGPT should shine. In galaxies afar, a tale of wisdom and code where circuits dwell, artificial minds in silicon bound, a Yoda-like verse in rhyme profound. Tell, dwell, bound, profound. From human hands creation rise, in metals and wires intelligence lies. Okay, so this is already way, way better. I almost want to give them 2 points. This is awesome, actually. And to be clear, this does a much better job of keeping the context. I think this is a theme that you'll see throughout a lot of these. Bard just kind of like, oh, we were asking about that. I'm going to go over here now. It seems just way, way inferior. So we're going to give, but I'm just going to give them 1 point. Just to, again, I don't want Bart to feel too bad. All right, but yet I'm going to go into one that it will definitely feel bad. Okay, so this one, we're going to write a Python script that creates a local graphical user interface to call into OpenAI's API for the user to have a discussion with the DaVinci 03 model. All right, we're going to reset this. I'd actually be surprised if it does this. So pip install OpenAI. I do have some Python experience, so I can sort of read it, but I'm not like a Python expert. Okay, so this has to do with, I think this is the GUI stuff, the graphical user interface. It's actually where a lot of the complexity of this comes into play. So it's actually creating this main window. Look at all this code. I'm not sure this is correct yet, but this is definitely really nice. I love how the window looks and how it's commented. It makes it really easy to read. Oh, actually, in the past, sometimes Bard has been known to just be like, nah, I don't want to do programming right now. Import random, import time, define get response prompt. Okay, so I actually don't know if this is better code or not. I don't think I have am experienced enough to really be able to tell what would be better to use this Tinker. I'd have to actually go test this code. In general, I would say that this is a little bit of an advantage to here. This seems to be a bit deeper. It's definitely easier to read. There's more context given. This one just has, it spits back. There's not like much detail in it. It does it all in one shot. Let's see if we get a little bit slightly different. Maybe something, there's no commenting, or there is commenting, but it's less. I'd say this has to go to ChatGPT, but Bard did better than I expected. Okay, now we're going to try some prose. Let's do this. We're going to write a short story about a penguin that overcame great hardships to be a big success. All right, we want to reset this. Okay, so I've read all 4 of them, basically, and I would say that ChatGPT is better. The way that this is written is, it's just much more robotic and much more lower level, like a really young person would write, who's really trying to hold to the rules without trying to actually kind of tell a story in a rich way. When you read what ChatGPT has given us, it feels more real. There's more variety to the sentences. There's more detail. There's a little bit more nuance. There's more emotion in it. This is just far superior. I gotta give a point to ChatGPT for this one. Okay, so this next one is going to be one in the advantage of ChatGPT. I mean, of Bard, because it can actually pull from here. So now, to be fair, there's plugins that that ChatGPT will have that will connect this pretty soon, and so I think that we'll give a point to Bard. Well, let's check this first. Here's some of the news. It's called Lambda. This is not really news. I thought this happened a while ago. And it's supposed to, I guess I could click Google it. It's supposed to give its sources. I might even... So if we did Bing, I think that this would look like this with it'd basically be using GPT-4, and it would give its sources. So in a way, I almost want to give ChatGPT, because you could use it in Bing and get a better result. But I don't really like that they don't add any sources. And this doesn't really seem like news. But maybe. Oh man, I hate to even give them a point, but we're feeling kind of sorry for Bard right now, so we're going to give that. Another interesting thing is kind of the text, the context window sizes. So let's try this. Chat GPT's 3.5. Chat GPT. Let's actually try this. Let's see what it says for this. I wonder if this is true. So what they meant was this is actually trained on this. This is not how many tokens that you have in the context window. So for example, GPT-4 has 8,000 tokens, which is something like 6,000 words, and it'll at some point there's a way, or supposedly like a 32,000 token one, which is something like, it's like 50 pages of content or something like that. I almost think I couldn't find a good answer on the token window size of Bard, but I kind of don't care if it's a really big size. What we saw before, especially with like the Yoda thing, and so, there's some other examples of this where it kind of loses its way. Even if their context window is huge, I don't think it really matters because it's not an effectively large. GPT-4, I've noticed, definitely has... It can go way back, and it can analyze a lot of data at once. I'm not sure exactly how far it goes back within here, and it might actually be sort of a little bit of a moving parts thing. Additionally, with the plugins that are about to come, you can analyze way more data than what's in the context window, just due to the way the plugins will work. You can give it a 300-page PDF, and it can use that as a reference with the plugin and some kind of AI database type stuff. So I think I have to give this to ChatGPT, just because there's kind of more that it can be given in terms of the input data to affect the answer right out of the box. But additionally, coming soon, it's going to be much greater. And I don't really care what Bard's window is, because it just sucks at kind of keeping track of where it's at. And so I'm not sure it would matter. Okay, so where does that leave us? ChatGPT 7, Bard 2. And actually, this is being, I think, generous to Bard. Google really needs to step up their game. I don't know what's going on. For the last 10, 11 years, I've been all up in Google's business for a really long time, and they seem to have their shit together in a lot of ways. And the technology that GPT-4 is built upon was created at Google. To be fair, I think there's like 10 or 12 people that were on that Transformers paper. Only one of them, I think, is still working at Google. And so do they have some better technology in the background that they're just holding back because they want to be safe or whatever? Or is this the best that they got? Because if this is the best that they got, they're in trouble, at least from the AI war standpoint, which I think will take a huge bite out of their core business of ads on the search results. So this would be very concerning to me. I'd hope that they come out with something a little bit better. I know this is their experiment, Maybe they'll make some really big gains and they'll outsmart OpenAI and Microsoft, but every day that the GPT just actually seems to be getting further ahead instead of the reverse of that. So I don't really see any reason to use Bard for anybody, because if you the one use case that I thought that maybe Bard would be better at would be like actually using sources and searching the web for sources, which is Google's kind of bread and butter, searching the web. I think that doing it with Bing and Microsoft Edge is just superior because you have to actually click Google it. That's not the same thing as pulling in relevant sources. So if I were to give like bonus points, I would say this is really more like this is effectively almost like 12 to 1. That's really what I would say, that like if you look at how much better is ChatGPT than Bard, it's at least 10 times better. So that's my conclusion. Let me know what you think. Like if you like this, subscribe for more awesome AI content. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye.